Stamps of Germany, miscellaneous varieties. So now a few examples of sea tenants being aware of similar criteria as applies to most definitives. Just a quick refresher. Top margin stamps, horizontal pairs, printer's mark, and a tête bêche with a plate number, just to name a few. Here we have a sea tenant such as this with sheet margin, which does come actually from a booklet pane sheet, not from a booklet itself. The booklet pane sheet consists of 10 vertical rows by 23 fields horizontally. Fields meaning stamps, margins, and labels. This particular one catalogs about $25. So not bad for basically cheaper stamps. This sea tenant, however, especially in this mint not hinged condition, or even better, used, is one to look for. The mint not hinged version does catalog a nice $170 plus. So make sure when you acquire one, you don't have a fold right where the perforation is, because that will definitely diminish the value and also weaken the margin part from the stamp part. So be sure that these vertical perforations do not have any creasing. Okay, as mentioned before, we do remember that only used booklet panes are considered complete without the usual lift margin. Same booklet panes, these two? No. One values almost 3 times the other. Overall, no faults and clean with readable cancels. Ribbed gum, or obviously there's no gum left, but the ribbing does kind of embed into the paper as viewed from the back. So you have to kind of look at that very closely at times. It's very faint, but if it is any indication of ribbing, it's ribbed. And yes, it is very nice to find a booklet pane like this, nicely postmarked, clean, no bending or creasing of any of the perforations. And this one does catalog about $70. Usually booklet panes used appear to be on average with a higher catalog value as do mint booklet panes. Here we have the same arrangement as before, except this booklet pane has no gum ribbing or ribbing evidence on the paper as viewed from the backside. Therefore, the catalog value is now about $200. So, a little feature, but very important in catalog value. Yes, we must be very observant and check everything. Vending machine stamps, similar to coil stamps, with numbering on every fifth stamp. Here too, varieties are listed in a specialized catalog. And then we have a 1922 inflation issue with the background omitted. This particular one here, the 10 red, in its hinged condition, it only catalogs about $60. Nonetheless, much better than the regular issue with the background cataloging only a few pennies. So this one you want to look at very closely, especially legitimately used with the proper cancel. This particular tin Fennec without the background catalogs very, very hefty. So be aware of that. And this 1922 imperfect 4-mark issue in mint not hinged condition does catalog a nice $100. And the 1923 high inflation definitive has a defective overprint, and it's visible right here where all these letters are kind of almost like an arc type overprint, how should I say, defect. So they're all kind of shortened. And yes, that particular one, actually, even in any condition, mint hinged, not hinged, or used, has just a dash for value. So it's anybody's guess what the value may possibly be. So, this 1923 inflation issue does actually show quite clearly that the right stamp does have an inverted 8 upside down. Having the normal next to it, it's actually quite obvious to see. And this one is hinged, and therefore the hinged values always seem to drop quite a bit from the not hinged, but still a $30 item. So not too bad. And this one, most everyone is familiar with. And this one here with the F instead of E in Deutsches. Here the enlargement should be a bar here, the lower bar of the E, such as on this stamp on the right, is a listed plate flaw. Not very pricey, but anyways, more than the single, and hinged copy is $15 roughly. And here we have two normal issues, also Germania's of 1915. and 1917. Perforation 14 by 14 1/4. Catalog value of those two, only $2 for hinged. On the right, we have a 1917 and 18 British war forgery for Germany, and these are perforated 15 to 14 1/4 or 14 3/4 to 14. These catalog mint hinged $15. If properly used, look at that, $2,500 each. So that is substantial. I'm sorry, I think $2,500 for both. My mistake. So anyways, take a close look, and maybe you have such a forgery, because these Germania stamps on the left, these two, are quite plentiful and sometimes just stacked in a stock book, and such was the case with these. A number of years back, I had actually two of these that were stacked in a long row of these 15 Pfennig in a stock book of just all otherwise regular Germania stamps. So look very closely. Sometimes it definitely is worth the effort. These Germania issues of 19, 20, and 21 are different in that the left stamp here is the type 2, which resulted in a one-step printing, meaning that the center part and the frame were all printed in one step. Therefore, this spacing between the center and the frame is exactly even. On the other hand, these two stamps on the right are of the type 1. It's called the two-step printing. And that means that the center parts were printed separately from the frame. So that resulted, as is visible here, with different spacings all around the vignette or the center part of the stamp. And here it's very close, but it's still not as it is on the left stamp. And you can see also the shift up here, the top of the crown, and also the pointed part of the vignette as opposed to the center here, but mostly the spacing here around the vignette. Look how wide it is on this side, and look how much narrower it is on the right side. And this particular item is a real good example, because here the shift is quite dramatic. So typically the type 1, these two here, do catalog better than the type 2 on the left. And also, again, used examples, properly used, do catalog a little bit more yet. So, you can find those too, probably in masses of Germanias, some examples of these. And here just a couple of examples of inflation, German inflation type gutter pairs. All have a little bit of a premium, nothing nothing substantial, but still better than single stamps. And also we have another Germania series type stamp with the plate number on the bottom tab. And they too hold a little premium. Again, not huge, but some do. So you have to really check with the specialized catalog to get a good idea of what these actually catalog, because this particular stamp comes in, I believe it's 4 or 5 different colors. So it depends on the color. This one has not been expeditized, so I cannot for sure say which color it is, but they do vary substantially in some cases. This particular stamp on piece with a small gutter attached to the bottom. Earlier German Empire stamp. Actually, with the type of cancel that we have here, is classified under German office in China. And the translation basically is the German version is in orange and the translation is here in white. So it would say this part here, Deutsche Seepost, German Seapost. And below that, East Asian Mainline. And the date, 29/4/91. And it does appear to have a C right here. And the star or asterisk, whatever, is right here. These are all important items to look for because it does make a difference on catalog value. The cancel color also is important, in this case black, which is standard. The stamp details, basically an unoverprinted German Empire stamp, in this case classified as a forerunner stamp. The stamp color definitely needs to be expertized because it appears to be from the year 1891, and there are some better colors in that time frame. The stamp widths also could have a bearing, but in this case it is normal. They do vary slightly by perhaps one additional row or widths of what would be an extra perfold vertically. And they also carry premiums. And I checked for plate flaws, the main ones listed in the catalog, and this one has no plate flaws. So, as you can see, many things I mentioned, so many things to look for. And postmarks are definitely very important because this one could be a good item, but I would have to send it in to get the total information on it. And then sometimes, we talk about collecting stamps, collecting revenues, and also there are certain labels or seals that are very collectible and interesting. So here I just show a few German seals. Some of these, for example, the one on the left is from the Imperial German General Consulate in New York. The second one over is from the Imperial German Post Office, number 1 in Hamburg, the city of Hamburg. And the third one over is a Royal Prussian, um, let's see, I'm just going to, courthouse in Berlingen. So, and the last one is a Prussian courthouse in Schöneberg, Berlin. So, quite interesting and in good condition. So, they also can dress up just a standard collection or an album page or what have you. I just thought I'd mention that. Well, with your generosity, again, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated, and a click on my subscribe button will also be received with much gratitude. Thank you so very much for watching. Well, again, as I mentioned in this video, a few treasures that can be out there, and we just need to keep a close eye out and check every possibility, um, and really hunt for those treasures. They're out there, I'm sure, because they do surface periodically. So good luck to all of you. My channel, stamps, space, my fun things. Thank you so much again.